All right, so we're now recording. This is the DARCI Marketing class. Now, the reason that we call it DARCI and Marketing is because a lot of people think of DARCI just as marketing. She does have a very important marketing feature, but after we finish talking about DARCI, we're going to talk about manual marketing, which is also a very powerful tool inside the software, and they're different. So the first thing we're going to do is talk about DARCI. To get to DARCI, we click on the DARCI Marketing button here, and that takes us to our Setup DARCI window. The first thing we need to do is hire DARCI. We're going to be basically treating DARCI as though she's going to be a staff member. So in order to hire DARCI, we need to go to this button, Set Up Account. Looks a little confusing, but it's actually very simple. We're just going to stick some things in here. For instance, business name, you're going to put in your business's name. Address, city, state, zip, and telephone number, or postal code, province, etc. Next, the business website address. You'll put in your business's website address here. And you wouldn't just put it in as, for instance, prosolutionssoftware.com. You would include the www if you have one in yours, so that it turns it into a link. Next, the business email address. Now, every time that DARCI sends out an email, it's coming from, normally, the name of your business at darci.mobi. So whatever your business's name is, I don't know, Christina's Salon and Spa at darci.mobi. That's where it's coming from. When she sends an email out, for a lot of different reasons, she might send an email out. If somebody replies to a DARCI email, now I'm not talking about confirming their appointment, through the button or anything like that. I'm talking about actually hitting reply, typing in a message, and hitting send. If they reply to an email, it will be forwarded to whatever email address you have here under business email address. Next is the owner's email address and the owner's email address too. They're essentially the same thing. I say essentially because you can have different email addresses here, but we're going to get into one of the 5 jobs of DARCI called notifications. And when we do, many of those notifications are for the owner's eyes only. And so, if DARCI feels that she needs to send something to the owner, she will send it to one or both of these email addresses. So if you've only got one filled, she'll just send it there. If you've got 2, she'll send it to both. So maybe the owner's got a home email address and a business email, or maybe there's 2 owners, etc. So you can have up to 2 different email addresses here. She'll send it to one or both. Next, upload logo. Every email that goes out should have your logo on it, so that it looks nice. You never want to send emails out to your customers that don't look nice. It just reflects poorly on the business. So you want to make sure that you have your logo uploaded. If you have a logo that's ready to go, no problem at all. If you don't, you've got a logo, but perhaps it's not a good shape, it's not a good size, or you just want to add something more to it, whatever it may be, our graphics department here at Pro Solutions Software can help you with that at no charge. The graphics department of Pro Solutions is available to you through your subscription at absolutely no charge. And you can reach them at graphics@prosolutionssoftware.com. So, if you've got your logo, you click on this button, and now you can upload your logo. Using the cloud, you can only upload JPEGs. If you are using the installed version, then you can upload GIFs or JPEGs or TXTs or PNGs. Again, if your logo is only a PNG and you say, oh man, I can't upload it, don't worry about it. Send it to the graphics department. They can convert it for you, and then you'll be able to upload it. But it must be 500K or smaller, that's 500,000 bytes or smaller, and it must be a JPEG if it's in the cloud, or it must be JPEG, GIF, TXT, or PNG. Any of those will work for the installed version. Next, you simply hit Browse, find your logo somewhere on your computer, wherever that may be, and upload it. After you've clicked on it, you can hit upload, and it will show you right here that it has, in fact, been uploaded. It usually only takes a few seconds. After you've uploaded your logo, we have optional text account information here that you can put in, your text account username and text account password, if you're using texting. If you're not using texting, don't worry about it. You can leave it blank. Everything that she can do via text, she can also do via email. However, if you do want to be able to send, for instance, texts out for your customers to confirm their appointments and things like that, then you must have a text account username and password. If you're using the cloud, you get a certain amount of texts for free. If you're processing credit cards directly through our preferred provider, you also get a certain amount of text for free. If you're in the installed version, and you're not using our preferred provider, then you can purchase texts. Either way, you'll get a text account username and password. In order to get that, if you don't already have it, simply send an email to rates@prosolutionssoftware.com and let them know that you would like to have your text account username and password so that you can start sending texts through the software. Again, it's unnecessary, but you certainly can use it. Next, on the right-hand side, we have the optional account information. Every email that DARCI sends out will include your social networking links. So we have the ability for you to do Google+, Yelp, City Search, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, and Instagram. In this case, I'm using Google+, City Search, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm not using Yelp or Pinterest. Yelp is very important, by the way. If you've got a Yelp page, I recommend using it. How do you get these in there? It's really simple. Go to your page and highlight and copy your URL. Then paste it right in here. Paste in your Google+ URL, and it will turn into a Google+ icon on the emails. And if your customer clicks on that icon, it will take them directly to your Google+ page. Same thing with Facebook, Twitter, etc. Copy the URL, paste it in here, and then that icon will appear on your emails. If your customer clicks on it, it will take them directly to your Facebook page, your Twitter page, etc. Once you have put in your social networking URLs, you can press save. Do not concern yourself with online gift cards, online scheduling, or online retail. We're going to be removing them from this screen anyway because those are part of our online store, and that's a completely separate class. So once we have set up our social networking URLs, we press save. Your settings have been saved, okay, and exit out. So DARCI has now been hired. She is set up and ready to go. She has 5 main jobs. We're going to go over each one of those. The confirmations, the campaigns, the notifications, the come again, and the buy again. Those are her 5 jobs. So let's first talk about confirmations. These are appointment reminder and confirmations, and you get to write whatever you want for the email. For instance, reminder for Christina. Hi, Christina. Remember that you have an appointment for a European facial with Sally on November 8th at 11 a.m. Please arrive 15 minutes early to unwind. That's what I wrote. You write whatever you want, and you get to use these variables so that everybody can get a unique email to them. If you're not sure what the variables are, you simply click on the little information eye here, and it will list the variables and how they must be put in. Open caret, capital business name, closed caret to insert the business name. Open caret, lowercase service to insert service name. Open caret, lowercase op to insert the operator's name. That's the provider of the service. So you can use those variables to write your message just like I've written my message here. Once you have your subject and your greeting written the way you want it, then we come down here. You can choose to send 1 message, 2 messages, 3, or 4. I've chosen 2. And now you choose how many days in advance of the appointment you want the message to go out. So I've said I want 2 messages to go out, and I want the first one to go out 2 days before the appointment, and I want the second one to go out 1 day before the appointment. Now let's pretend that you were using a piece of paper instead of software, and you called someone called Matt Wiggins, and you said, hey, Matt, wanted to remind you about your appointment day after tomorrow for a European facial at 11 o'clock with Sally. And I say, oh, gosh, yes, I can't wait. I'll be there. You've got me on the phone. You're talking to me. You marked me confirmed. On a piece of paper, you would have confirmed. Because of that, you wouldn't call me the next day to confirm again. DARCI does the same thing. If your customer confirms their appointment on the first message that goes out, she won't send the second message out. If they do not confirm for any reason, they didn't see the email, they didn't check their emails, whatever, then it will in fact send the next one out, up to 4 messages until they confirm. Once they confirm, it'll stop. Now, it's not just a reminder. It has your logo. It has your social networking icons on it, but it also has a big button that says, click here to confirm my appointment. If your customer clicks that button, it will mark the appointment confirmed right on your appointment book. So it's not like it just sends you an email that says, hey, this person confirmed, and you say, okay, so now I need to go into the appointment book and mark it confirmed. It does it for you automatically, and it date and time stamps it, letting you know that the customer confirmed their appointment. Now, you can do the same thing. Well, actually, let's finish here. Once you have set up how many days you want, how many reminders you want to go out, as well as when they're going to go out, then you must check this box that says active and accept. Template is saved and exit. I get to forget about it. Every single day, Darcy's going to run, and Darcy's going to check and see who has an appointment coming up day after tomorrow or whatever it may be, and she will send out the necessary reminders and confirmation abilities. So if I want to do text confirmations, it's exactly the same thing for the most part. There's some slight differences. The big difference is there's no artwork. Your logo won't be on it, your social networking icons won't be on it, and there's no big button that says click here to confirm my appointment. Instead, you use this line, reply Y, to confirm. If your customer gets this message, reminder for Christina, Christina, your appointment with Sally is on November 8th at 11 a.m., reply Y to confirm. If Sally replies Y, then it will mark the appointment confirmed just as if they had pressed the button to confirm their appointment. Same thing, you choose, everything else is exactly the same. Check active and accept it. Now there is another difference. Notice my message here is much shorter than the other message I used. And that's because the text requires a maximum of 140 characters, no more than that. Anything that you write that extends past that will not show up on the text. So make sure that you have plenty of space. Count up your characters. Make sure it's quite a bit less than 140. I say quite a bit less because you don't, like this one here, open caret, CF, close caret. This is the customer's first name. Well, that's using up 4 characters, sure. But Christina, Christina, uses 9 characters. So if this message was maxed out at 140, you might think that's good, but then as soon as Christina's name gets in here, then you just lost a piece of the word confirm, et cetera, et cetera. 140 max. So be very careful. I would recommend that when you write it up, leave it at maybe 120 or even 110 characters. By doing that, no matter what it sticks in here, January is going to use more characters than the word date with operator, open caret, OP, close caret, that's only 4 characters, and maybe you've got an operator named Sebastian that they're going to see. That's a lot more characters. So be careful about that. But again, the same thing. After you've written what you want, check the box that says active and accept. And now, in the customer files, they have these buttons here that say confirm via text, confirm via email. If this is checked blue and you have their email address, then they will get those email reminders. If this, however, is checked blue and you have their cell phone number, then it will go, a text will be sent to them instead, as long as you have your text account. So I'm going to go back, and by the way, if you have them both, which is fine, it will in fact send both, a text and or email. So you're going to be asking your customers, how would you like us to remind you about your appointments? Via email, via text, or would you like us to call you? If they like you to call them, then both of those are going to be grayed out, and you're going to be able to call a list of people who do not want to get text or emails. If they did, they won't be on the list. Okay, let's go back to Darcy here. So that's reminders and confirmations. Any questions on that before we continue?
No, we're good.
All right. The next one is the campaigns, and this is the one that most people think of when they think of Darcy. The campaigns themselves are automated marketing campaigns, and we have quite a few of them already built into the system for you, everything you can imagine practically, for important dates like anniversaries, back to school, birthdays, Christmas, Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, summers, Thanksgiving, etc. So let's start with birthday here. I'm going to click on birthday, and then I get to choose the number of campaigns that I want to run. 1 campaign, 2, 3, or 4. I chose 4 in this case. What is this doing? It's going to send a message out to your customers before their birthday. When is it going to go out before their birthday? Well, I don't know, so we check these. You can choose from 0 to 30 days prior to their birthday. If you choose 0, that's on their actual birthday. If you choose 30, like I did, it would go out 30 days before their birthday. First message will go out 30 days before. My second message will go out 14 days before. My third message will go out 7 days before. My fourth message will go out on their birthday. That's the way I've set it up. You set it up any way you want. Once I've said when they're going to go out. Then I choose what goes out. So I can choose, for instance, my first message here. And I get to write my message. Happy birthday, open caret, capital CF, closed caret. That means it's going to stick the customer's first name there, because you can use these variables, which might be a little different than the other variables, so pay attention to them. You can use these variables. So this says, happy birthday, Christina. Happy birthday, Christina. It looks like you're celebrating your special day in about a month. Why did I write that? Because I know this one's going out 30 days before her birthday. Be sure to come before, and then her birthday will be here if you use that variable. Again, you get to write whatever you want, so don't worry about it. You also, while you're writing this, you can choose your font and your font size. You can even bold words or groups of words, underline words or groups of words, italicize them, even change their color. And you can even insert URLs. So you might have in here something like, if you'd like to book an appointment online, please click here. So then I have my appointments online URL put here, but then the words click here would be here, and I would insert that link. By doing that, in my message, it might say, if you want to book an appointment online, please, and then click here would be in blue with underline. If the customer clicks on those words, click here, it will take them to your appointments online page, or whatever it is you want, to write us a review or to download a 5% off coupon. If you've got that set up on a link, they can just click that link, be taken there to download or to do whatever it is you want them to do. So you write your message, and you can make it look and feel the way you want it to. After you've written your message, then you get to choose artwork. We have 8 pieces of artwork already created for you. To look at the artwork, you can click on any of these 8 radio buttons. So I can click on this one and click and see it. This is what it's going to look like. Happy birthday. This happens to be my favorite. I think it's kind of elegant. The message you want is going to be in here. Your logo is going to be here. Don't worry about the shape of it. By the way, it's going to be whatever the shape your logo is. Maybe you don't like any of the artwork that we have provided for you. You look all 8 of them and you say, that's not us. Don't like any of them. No problem. You get to upload your own custom artwork. And yes, our graphic arts department will help you with that. Once you have your custom artwork created, you can browse to it and upload it. And then you will have the custom campaign available. That's the 9th radio button. So the 8 are pre-made artwork. The 9th is the custom campaign, your custom artwork. Once you have the message exactly the way you want it to have, I highly recommend this. You don't have to do this, but I highly recommend that you press Send Test Email. Type in your email address and hit OK. And then it'll say something like Happy Birthday Jane or Happy Birthday John. It always uses a default name like that. But what it's going to do is it's going to email you what it's going to look like to your customers. So you'll see your logo there, you see the artwork there, you'll see the social networking icons there, and you'll be able then to say, you know what, that looks good. So then you can save the template and exit. You're good to go. Move on to the next one. Happy birthday, Christina. Christina, your birthday is only 2 weeks away. I know that because I'm sending this one out 14 days. So I change my message. I can change my artwork. I can change the way it looks. Every message can be unique, letting them know whatever information it is you want them to know. And so you do that for all 4 of them. And after you have done that to all 4, you check this box that says active, save the whole thing, and exit. My birthdays are set up. And there's a lot more than just birthdays, as I said before. So for instance, if I said Valentine's Day, I want to send out 3, 30 days before, 2 weeks before, and on Valentine's Day. Write my message, make it look and feel the way I want it to look and feel, choose my artwork, or upload my own custom artwork, and save after I send myself a test email to make sure it looks right. Same setup. Now, there are a few in here that are a little bit different. And yes, by the way, things like Mother's Day and Father's Day don't have actual dates because they change every year. The software has an algorithm built into it so that it knows, based on what year you're in, what day those are. So don't worry about that. But throughout all of these, and there's over 20 of them, there are 3 that are very different because the others all go before the date. Before Valentine's Day, before Mother's Day, before Christmas, before Black Friday, before the birthday, etc., before the anniversary. These three that I'm about to talk about go after the date. For instance, one of them is follow-up. It's going after the date. Well, what's the date then? Well, the date then is the date of your customer's last transaction. So if I say follow-up and I just want one campaign to run, I can choose 1 to 4, but I say just one. And how many days after the date of their last transaction? 1. That's what I said. So then I could do something like this. Thank you, Christina. Christina, thank you so much for visiting us yesterday. In other words, everybody is going to get the message, thank you message, visited you yesterday. Maybe it says something like, use the links below to write a review about it, or whatever it is. The point is if they saw you yesterday, you're going to get the message as long as they allow you to send them promos. And what do I mean by that? In the client files, you have this button down here that says email promos. If that is blue, they will get the promotion emailed to them. If it is gray, then you can create a birthday promotion, and you might even have the date of birth, but they won't get it. So again, something else you need to ask your customers. This prevents you from sending things to people who didn't want them. No spam. So now you simply ask your customer, hey, would you like to be notified of discounts for your birthday or your anniversary or other special days? It's a great way to ask it. Let me tell you why it's a great way to ask it. Most people don't want to get emails from a business. They're, oh God, not another advertisement. But of course, if you say, hey, would you like us to send you discounts or promotions or information for your birthday or anniversary, then suddenly there's a positive built in there for you. It's not just an advertisement. It doesn't feel like spam. You're not necessarily going to send them something that says, hey, look at our summer specials. That feels like spam. But if you say, hey, Christina, we know your birthday's coming up in 14 days, that's a whole different ball of wax. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So let's go back into DARCI here. Now, I told you that there's 3 of them. I just told you about follow-up. There's another important one here that I want to tell you about, and that's lost client. The lost client works a little bit differently. It doesn't go from 0 to 30. It goes from 30 to 360. And you can choose any of those, of course, and however many you want to run. I said 4 again. And this one I'm saying, remember, this is going out after the date of your customer's last transaction. So I want to send my first message out 3 months after their last transaction. My second message out maybe 4 months after. My third message maybe 5 months after. And my fourth message I skipped a few months and I said 8 months after. Okay. So if your customer came in and saw you and a whole 3 months have gone by and they have not come back to visit you again, then they might get a message like this. We miss you, Christina. Christina, it's been a long time since we've seen you, and you, again, dress it up, choose your artwork or upload your own custom artwork. Everything else remains the same. However, DARCI's not dumb. Even if your customer has not seen you for 3 months, if they have a future appointment booked with you, it won't send out the email. Remember that. If they have a future appointment booked with you, it won't send it out. So you don't look foolish. Hey, we miss you, we'd love to see you, and they already booked an appointment with you for next week, even though they haven't seen you in 3 months. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, great. And the same thing goes if they ignore this message. They don't have a future appointment booked with you, and they get this message and they don't think anything of it, or they never saw it or whatever, then they'll get this one. And then again, if they ignore that, then they'll get this one, etc. So it's a way for you to reach out to them to remind them, hey, we'd love to have you come back in whatever message you want to send. That's lost client. That's automated marketing, because once you set it up, you get to forget about it. DARCI will run every day and see, has anybody hit that magic number of 90 or 140 or 120 or 150 or 200, whatever. Has anyone hit those magic numbers? And if they have, let's get this message out to them. Next, notifications. Remember earlier I talked about during setup the owner's email addresses, and I said there were certain things that DARCI believes are for the owner's eyes only. That's what we're talking about here in setup, notifications. It's not just suspicious activity, but most of it is. Everything I check, DARCI is going to be doing. So when a cash payment is voided, if that's checked, if one of your staff members voids a cash payment, then DARCI is going to contact the owner or owners and say, hey, a cash payment was just voided. Date and time and transaction number and who did it if you've password protected it. When a price is modified at the point of sale, when rewards points are adjusted, when a transaction is modified. This one here has already caught some thieves when a client file is printed. We've had customers report to us that DARCI contacted, one of them in particular that I always remember, DARCI contacted her at 2 o'clock in the morning to let her know that somebody just printed out a list of her customers. And they used her password, I might add. She was able to do a little bit of investigation to find out who was about to open their own shop just a few streets down.
Wow.
That's terrible, but those things happen. So it's kind of like somebody kind of looking over the shoulder. Look, 99.9% of the time, the things that your staff are doing are completely legitimate. And in your case, maybe even 100% of the time. But it's nice to know when something that the owner should, hey, I'd like to know if somebody's printing out a list of my customers, or if you're voiding transactions, or if you are modifying a transaction, or if you're giving your friends additional points on the loyalty program that they didn't earn. I want to know about that. DARCI will do those things for you. Now, remember, I said not all of these are suspicious activities, like this one here. Email operator when booked, unbooked, and it should say or rescheduled. It does all three of them. If that's checked, every time you book an appointment for your staff member or unbook an appointment or reschedule an appointment, your staff member will get an instant email from DARCI letting them know what change has been made. Here's another one. Email tomorrow's schedule to operator. Every night, DARCI will email your staff their schedule for the following day. Now, do we have an app that allows them to check their schedule at any time? Absolutely. But isn't it nice to know that DARCI's going to email them and say, hey, this is what your schedule looks like tomorrow. It doesn't show them anybody else's. It just shows them their schedule for the following day. And she'll do that 7 days a week. So if you're closed on Sundays, they'll still get it Saturday night. It'll just say you have no appointment scheduled for tomorrow. You're open on Mondays, so Sunday night, even though you were closed, they get an email Sunday night that says, these are your appointments for tomorrow, etc. She'll run 7 days a week, whether you're open or closed. Next, email closing report to the boss. Maybe it's not the boss that closes at the end of the night. She went home already. The front desk person closes the drawer, turns out the lights, and leaves. And the boss gets a message later that evening that says, hey boss, here are tonight's closing numbers. So you can check off any of the ones that you want her to do, and she will do them. And then you simply say save. Those are notifications. So we've talked about 3 jobs that she does: reminders and confirmations, automated campaigns, and notifications. Next we have come again and buy again. What are they and how do they work? Well, the come again works with services, setup, salon and spa services, and I can choose any of my groups, and I can then choose any of my services. So I've set one up here on Physical Therapy 60. Let's look at one that isn't set up. I'm going to go to a Head 90 here, and I'm going to go to DARCI. Things set up under my DARCI Come Again. If I check this box, then I can choose from 1 week to 52 weeks and write a subject and a body. How does this work? Well, let's go to the one I've already set up. I'm going to go to my Physical Therapy 60. Let's pretend that if I give somebody a physical therapy massage, that in my opinion, they should be repeating that every week. And maybe 3 weeks have gone by and they have not come back in for their physical therapy. So I go here to DARCI and I check this box, and then I choose maybe 3 weeks because they should be repeating it weekly, but I'm going to choose 3 weeks here, and then I'm going to write my subject, don't neglect your physical therapy, and my body. I know that a busy schedule can get in the way of your muscles' health. Don't let it. We see you've missed your last therapy cycle. Call today to schedule. So if somebody walks through your door and gets a Physical Therapy 60, and 3 whole weeks have gone by and they have not repeated it, they'll get this message. However, again, if they have a future appointment booked for that service, it won't send it out for that service. It's important that you understand the difference, because if somebody sets, okay, they get themselves a Physical Therapy 60, and then next week they're booked to get their nails done, it doesn't care that they booked to get their nails done. It's looking at this and saying, hey, they haven't come back for their physical therapy. They don't have a future appointment booked. We're going to send out this email. Okay? That's one way that the come again can be used. for somebody who has missed their cycle. Another way that it can be used is to remind them not to miss their cycle. So let's say, for instance, that you were doing like a hair service. Let's go with nails. We'll do a nail service here. And we'll say, you know what, when you do an acrylic overlay, that should last about 8 weeks before they need to come in and do it again. So I'm going to go to my DARCI here, check my DARCI come again, and instead of choosing maybe 9 weeks or 10 weeks because they missed their cycle, I'm going to do it at 6 weeks. Now, I believe that they should come in every 8 weeks for this. So why am I choosing 6 weeks? Remember, if they have a future appointment, she won't send out this message. But my message might be something like, because I know it won't send it out unless if they have a future one. So then my subject might say, don't forget your acrylic overlay. And then my body might say, in 2 weeks, you're due for your next acrylic overlay, and we see you have not yet booked your next appointment. Please click this link, or please call us to book your next appointment. Again, instead of saying you missed your cycle, it's reminding them not to miss their cycle. If they are booked for that, it won't send it out, so you don't have to worry about looking foolish. That's the come again. Any questions on that?
No.
All right. So then the next one we have here is the buy again, which is very similar to the come again, except it works with product. So I have a product here. Let's say it's a shampoo, my Justin All-in-One shampoo. And let's pretend that my Justin All-in-One shampoo is 20 ounces. And let's pretend that I tell my customers that they should be using 2 ounces of it every other day. Well, if they do that, then in about 20 days or approximately 3 weeks, they should be at empty or near empty. So I'm going to use my buy again, and I get to write whatever subject I want, like your Justin All-in-One shampoo is running low, and my body. If you've been using the shampoo like we told you, then you should notice that you're either out or running low. Please print this email out and bring it in with you for 5% off your next purchase within 30 days. Again, you don't have to offer a discount. It could just be a reminder. But if somebody walks through your door and buys the Justin All-in-One shampoo, and it should empty in 3 weeks, and 5 whole weeks have gone by and they have not returned to buy it again, they can get this message that reminds them about that. Now, you could set it for 3 weeks, of course, but I'm not that guy that honks the horn the second the light turns green. I give them an opportunity to actually run out and then find time to come back and buy it. Many of our customers only use this on slow-moving products. Others put it on every product. It's entirely up to you. Now, this is another way that DARCI's smart. What if somebody came in and bought a 20-ounce bottle of Justin All-in-One shampoo, and they liked it so much that 2.5 weeks later, when they were almost out, they came in and bought a 30-ounce bottle? That's a different product with a different SKU number and a different price. If they buy a product in the same category, it doesn't have to be the exact same product. If they buy a product in the same category, it won't send out the email. It will reset the clock. So again, you don't look foolish. Hey, your 20-ounce bottle of Justin All-in-One shampoo is running low, when actually a week ago they bought a 30-ounce bottle to replace it. Just because they didn't come in to buy that 20-ounce bottle again, they shouldn't be told, hey, you're running low. Again, protections in there so that you don't look foolish. That is the DARCI buy again. Now, once you have set up your jobs for DARCI, you don't have to set up all 5. Maybe you only want it to be for appointment reminders and confirmations and nothing else. Or maybe you only want it to be for certain marketing campaigns and nothing. That's fine. Set up what you want. But once you have set up her jobs, now you have essentially told DARCI what her job description is, but you haven't told her when to perform her jobs. And you do that with these boxes and these boxes. First, if we said we only want her to do appointment reminders and confirmations, we click here and we don't click any of these others. If we want her to do end of day functions like contacting the boss to tell the boss what the closing report looked like, or to send out your staff every night their schedule for the next day, things like that, then we're going to check that one. If we do set up come agains, we must click on this one. If we set up buy agains, we must click this one. Then we can go to these boxes and tell DARCI when we want her to run. Anytime from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. are my options. So I like to have DARCI run at least 30 minutes after I open every morning. just so that I know that everything's good. And if I wanted to make changes really quick, I could before she runs. So at least a half hour after I open. My closing, my end of day functions, I want to make sure that those don't go out until after I have actually closed. So I think about what is the latest I close. And maybe the latest you close is 7 o'clock. I wouldn't set this for 7 because that really doesn't give you any time to go through the process of closing. So again, I would recommend at least, it could be later, but if the latest you close is 7, then I would want Darcy to run her end of day functions at maybe 7:30 or 8 or 8:30 or 9, whatever it may be, just to make sure that the closing has been done, the lights are out, the doors are locked, and then after that, Darcy sends it out. Remember, if you told Darcy that you want her to send the boss the closing report, she can't do it if you haven't closed the drawer yet. So if you're closing at 7 and you've got Darcy to run at 6:30 or at 7 and you're not finished closing, she's got nothing to send that night. So that's why we recommend that she be set to send at least a half hour after you normally close. Or I would say the latest you normally close, actually. Okay. And the come again and the buy again, we recommend that the times simply reflect the same time as the confirmation and marketing campaigns. You can choose anything, as I said, from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., but we generally recommend that you know that all of them are going out at the same time. Okay? Just a recommendation. It's totally up to you. Once you have checked off what you want her to do and set the times that you want her to do them, then we can accept the whole thing and exit. And Darcy is going to do her job every day, 365 days a year, and she will do all of the things that you have instructed her to do. Any questions on that before we continue?
No. There was a button though that said Run Darcy. Do you hit that?
Okay, that's a good question. I'm glad you noticed that, actually, but it's not important to you, which is why I didn't mention it. And the reason I say that is because you're the only one in my class right now. If there were other people in the class, I definitely would have mentioned that, but I happen to know that Dakarah is a cloud version. In the cloud version, there is no Run Darcy button.
Okay.
Because she's always running.
Okay.
In an installed version, if somebody shut off their computer that runs Darcy, maybe they needed to reboot it for some reason. When they reboot, they need to remember to go in there and run Darcy again, because if they reboot it, she's not running. But in the cloud, whether that computer is shut off or not, Darcy's still doing her job. So there's no button there that tells you to run her. Make sense?
Got it. Yep, got it.
Yeah. So that's something you guys will not have to concern yourself with.
Perfect.
Okay. So that's Darcy. We're about to get into manual marketing. Any other questions on Darcy before we get into manual marketing?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward.
Okay. Manual marketing is also straightforward. It's very simple, but it can be really targeted. And that's what I want you to focus on. Target emails or target texts or whatever it may be. And why is that so important? Because you need to remember that most people that get emails from businesses aren't going to open them, because most of the time it's spam. You don't want to send an email out that says something like, check out our summer specials, check out our winter specials. That feels like spam. Instead, I want to target my clients. I want to be able to say, Christina, take no offense here. I'm going to use you as my example. I'm going to say, I know that Christina has a lot of acne, and she suffers from oily skin. And the medications that she's using creates dry skin at times as well. So, what do I do about this? I want to contact all of my customers that have dry skin, or if she's not on that medication, that have oily skin, and maybe that are over a certain age or below a certain age. Or maybe I want to contact all of my women who have dry skin, who are between this age range and ride motorcycles. I can get that crazy. I can get as crazy as I want because it's customizable. So then I can generate a list of just my women with dry skin that ride motorcycles. And then I could, maybe in my subject line, say something like, hey, Christina, your skin's probably dry from all that motorcycle riding. And then my message. Christina, we've got a special on this product specifically for women with skin like yours that like to ride. blah, 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 blah. That is a targeted email. And it is so much more likely to be opened because of that subject, that you used her name and something that was specific to her. Hey, Christina, you beautiful brunette or beautiful blonde or redhead or whatever it is she is. You can have that in there because you know that's who she is. And now you're marketing directly to her and to everybody else that's like her. She doesn't have to know that because you're using those variables again. So how does it work? First, we set up what are called tracking items. You don't have to set up tracking items. There's a lot of ways you can track without them. But tracking items are the way that you get to get really customized. In every client file, we have tracking items. Tracking. Click. I said that Miss Babcock has black hair and it's long. Didn't say anything about surfing. She's got oily skin. She rides motorcycles. She's Hispanic. She's got tattoos. And she is between the ages of 26 and 35. Okay, these are my, and I can do more as well. These are tracking items, and these don't exist in your software. You must create them. And it's really very simple. Setup, configuration, tracking, add tracking names. These are the ones that I've already created. When you first open this, they'll be completely blank. There will be nothing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a brand new one. And let's pretend that Dakarah has a business next to it that sells buffalo wings, okay? And I'm going to say that this is going to say called buffalo wings. I know it sounds crazy, but, and then here I'm going to say yes and no. I really don't need the no unless I need to change my yes. I can just leave it blank and accept. So now I say, you know what? Some of my women come in here after they visit the buffalo wings place next door. Some of my women or men come in here and then go to the buffalo wings place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Darcy and I'm going to create a list. And you know what? Let's actually make somebody. Let's give that to somebody. Let's choose a man here because I think I'm in here. I'll just choose my brother Brent. And I'm going to go to tracking. And I'm going to say he's got brown hair. Whoops, not red. Brown hair. And that he likes to visit the buffalo wings place next door. And accept and save. That's it. DARCI Marketing. Create a list. And I'm going to say I want all of my men who visit the buffalo wing store. And I'm going to call this Buff Males. It's a silly name, but, and create list. And it's going to go through all 22,000 of my customers. And it's going to find everybody that qualifies. And maybe that's one, maybe it's 100, maybe it's 1,000, maybe it's 15,000. I don't know. There's Brent Wiggins. And now I can go to blast. And I can choose from a list that I've created. And I've got a whole bunch of them here, including one called Buff Males. There it is. Maybe I've got 35 people on this list. I want to blast this or export this. I can export it and put it anywhere I want on my computer so that I can then upload it into something like Constant Contact or Go Loyal or things like that. But I'm not going to do that. I don't want to waste my time using those companies because I don't have to anymore. I'm going to say blast a list. Do I want to blast an email or do I want to blast a text? Maybe I want to blast an email, but I haven't created an email yet. So I go to setup. All of the emails that I've ever set up are going to be here. And I'm going to create one called Buffalo Men. And my subject line. Hey, open caret, CF, closed caret. Hey, Brent, comma, we know you love those wings, exclamation point. Choose my font. Choose my font size. Maybe change my color. Maybe bold. And my color is going to be red. And then let's say, whoops, hey, open caret, closed caret. Whoops, CF, closed caret. Hey, Brent. Hey, John. Hey, Sam. Hey, Sally. Whatever. Well, Sally probably wouldn't be on this list because I said it was just men. Hey, Brent. Guess what? We here at blah, whatever the name of the company is, that's fine. Open caret, business, closed caret, have a special going on with our neighbors, Buffalo Wild Wings next door. Come in before you get your wings, and we'll give you a 15% discount on all nail services. I can even upload an image. Maybe it's a picture of a beautiful woman with great nails eating buffalo wings and they're sticky. You know, whatever it is, I can upload an image, make it look really nice. Save my template. I'm done. I can insert URLs. I could have done all sorts of things to make it look really good. Then I can go to my emails and choose the list that I created, which is called, if I'm not mistaken, Buffalo Men. There it is. So now I can send myself a test email to make sure it looks good. It's got my logo on it. It's got my social networking icons on it. The picture that I uploaded is there. It looks right. Good. I hit process. Everybody on that list gets that message. That's targeted marketing. Now, can you do it for things much more prosaic? Absolutely. You could say, you know what? I just need a list of all of my customers. Create a list. Males and females. Check nothing. Give it a name like all clients and create the list. And it'll pull up every customer you have that's active. Check this box and now it'll pull up everybody, active or inactive. Doesn't matter. Or maybe I say, I just want a list of my women. I just want a list of my women who live in a particular zip code or a bunch of zip codes. Can choose however many I want. Or I just want a list of my women who buy a particular product. So I'm going to call this FemAIO. This is my females that buy my Justin all-in-one shampoo. And create a list, and it's going to go to every single one of my 22,000 customers, and it's going to find every single female who buys that product. I probably, because that's going to look through every transaction that I ever did, I probably shouldn't have used that because it's going to take about 3 minutes to do. So bear with us because we're going to have to wait this out for about 3 minutes. But the important thing to note here is that even if you don't create any of your own tracking items, there's lots of things to go by. I want to do it based on all of my women who see a particular operator and who have a birthday in a particular month or something like that. We can even set it up for reviews, which is a really important thing. Maybe you've got a Yelp account and you want to have a lot of positive reviews on that. But, you know, with Yelp, you can't offer a positive good for a positive review. If they find out that, they'll put a banner on your Yelp page that says it's come to our attention that Dakarah offers or purchases positive reviews. That makes you look horrible. Every positive review you have on it is no longer any good. So this is done. 77 people qualified. And because I said just women, 77 women qualified that buy that particular product. And so now I can blast. Hey, we've got a special on Justin all-in-one shampoo. And it's just going to go out to those women who buy that product. So you can get really crazy.
Matt, will it save that list, or is that more under reports?
No, it saves the list. Every list that you've ever created is going to stay here. And can you remove them? Absolutely. Can you create new ones and copy right over it? Yes. So next month you want to do it again for that same product, but now maybe there's 80 people on the list.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right. So the next thing, we talked about tracking, and we talked about creating the list. And don't forget, when you create a list, you can send the blast out via text instead of via email. Something that you need to be aware of, especially with texting. Again, you're limited to that 140 characters. And also, I think more importantly, if you've got a list that you're going to text out to, and it's huge, you know, my database here has 22,000 customers in it. And so you might say, hey, I'm going to send this out to everybody. And all of your people you get your cell phone numbers from, and all of your people have said yes to texting promos. Great. Well, guess what? You're about to send out 22,000 texts. If you sent out 22,000 emails, no problem. $0. Doesn't cost you a dime. And you're not marked as a spammer because the DARCI program is a certified marketing platform. Just like Constant Contact or Go Loyal or MailChimp, you don't get marked as a spammer because it knows that you're sending these out to just your customers. But if you send out 22,000 texts, which is fine, but remember, you're paying for those texts. Even if you get a certain amount of text for free, Maybe you get 1,000 texts for free. Great. Well, that's 21,000 texts you're paying for now. And we charge $20 for 1,000 texts. Okay? So all of a sudden your monthly bill comes and you're like, oh my God, why do I owe an extra $250? Well, that's because you sent out 22,000 texts. So remember, if you're sending out really large marketing campaigns, do it via email. If the list is 5, 10, 15, 20 people on it, feel free to send it via text. Maybe even 100 people on it. You're okay with the text. Sure, no problem. But if you're sending out a text with 5,000, 6,000 people on it, don't send it.
And I think with us, we only send our text messages just to remind clients of appointments. We don't necessarily run the promos that way.
Yeah, then you shouldn't have any trouble at all.
Okay.
Okay. I just want you to be aware that they're both available there. So that is DARCI and manual marketing. Any questions on what we've covered today before we end?
No, as far as I know, like I've written stuff down and stuff, and then you're gonna send this to Danielle. So then, if Danielle has her own questions, then she'll definitely either contact me or contact me.
Send it to both Christina and Danielle. You've got it. Both of the classes that you attended today, you're going to be receiving those emails.
Perfect.
Later. All right. Well then, Christina, have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for attending the class. Like I usually tell people, the people who know the most about the software are the people who are happiest with it. So I really do appreciate the time that you took and the fact that you actually showed up, because a number of people signed up for this class, and you're the only one that showed up. So I really do thank you so much. My time wasn't late.
Yeah, no, thank you. I really appreciate it for going into depth with that. I'm pretty sure that we'll probably have questions along the line.
and that's what we're here for.
Yeah, exactly. So you guys have been, but I've made my notes and who I have to call and so on and so forth. So again, thank you so much for taking the time to do that for us today.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.